Disclaimer: I am not a mechanic, A&P, AMT, AME. I am not a CFI, CFII. I think you get the point. If you have any questions, concerns, etc., seek the advice of experts. I'm a private pilot who owns a plane and is trying to give back to the aviation community by sharing my own experience in aircraft ownership. Please refer to your aircraft's POH, as every aircraft is different. And remember, we're all in this together, so be safe out there.
Everybody, just another quick segment from the Thirsty Pilot here. Not feeling too great, so I thought I would take a few seconds to put out some information that may help others, especially if they're not feeling good right now. One of the big concerns is I have a cold and I have a twisted tooth. Thing hurts like crazy, so I've been taking some medications I normally would not have taken to try to help with the pain and then also help with the cold symptoms. One of the things is I wanted to make sure that I was reading up and up to the knowledge of seeing the interactions and how they will affect my flying in the near future here. So I'll get right to it. What I'll do is I'll leave the URLs or links below in the description so everybody can take a look at what I'm looking at now. So the first thing that ironically was put out by the FAA last week was drug facts, interactions, where I can get more information, and a few links right there. If you use one of the links, definitely use this one. It's got some great information about AME contacts, how long you should wait till you fly, and some interesting facts about drugs. Secondly, if you want to check out the medications that you're taking, there are quite a few databases out there. What I searched for is FAA medication lookup. Doesn't mean that the FAA is prescribing medication, but what a lot of organizations have done is put out information about individual drugs and their interactions. As far as the FAR is concerned, 91.7A3, if you want in that section, that subsection there, it's very kind of open to interpretation. So that's why a lot of organizations have put out their own kind of ideology of what medications should and should not be taken if you're about to fly, and then also the wait times involved. The FAR section, section 91.17A3, basically says no person may act or attempt to act as a crew member of a civil aircraft while using any drug that affects the person's faculties in any contrary way to safety. Now, this isn't going into commercial. This is concentrating to Part 91, so take it as you will. So after you go on the internet there and type this in, one of the pages that I really like and is actually promoted by the FAA is the AMAS, the Aviation Medicine Advisory Service. And what this is or the way that I use it, is you click to the upper right there, you've got medication database, and then you can enter in the medication that you're currently taking. What I would do is I would line up the medication that I've taken, enter that in, and then go through here and get a prescriptive time where where you're able to fly again. In this case, Dayquil, which has this wonderful ingredient in there, which you should definitely look out for, and I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce it, has a required wait time of 48 hours. Now, again, going back to the FAR, it's no prescriptive amount of time for each medication. However, what these organizations have done is reached out, looked through case law, so on and so forth, to see what a safe time would be. What I normally do is I look through a few of these sites and I pick the longest time, and then I kind of weigh out the personal limitations that I have depending on whether how I'm actually feeling and a few other things. One of the other resources there, of course, the AOPA. They have a medication database, which is great. With this medication database, they allot a 12-hour wait time before flying. So you can see there is a difference between some of the organizations and what they post on their websites. Again, personal limitations, your envelopes of safety, finally the I'm safe practices, and then of course bumping up against other organizations' recommended wait times. I always do the maximum. There's no reason for me to fly. I don't fly for compensation. Even if I'm just flying myself, I want to be as safe as possible. One of the other brochures that I have included in the link descriptions below is a little bit expanded look on medications from an FAA perspective. You've got the OTC medications, which a lot of people think OTC isn't that big of a deal or the wait time isn't as long. That is incorrect. I am not a medical person or an examiner or anything to that effect. However, in all the research that I have done, OTC is just as dangerous in cases as prescription medications. With the FAA, they tell you to contact 3 people, an AME, which is the medical examiner there, a doctor, which is separate from the AME, and a pharmacist. They actually state that that's recommendations for all 3 for the medications that you take. Take that as you will. So this little publication goes in a little bit of the side effects, the type of medications that are normally used, and then a few different links or whatnot to get more information. It's a cool read, just go through it. You probably will learn at least one thing just by reading it. It's only 4 pages long. So FAA, I like to stick around the FAA's prescriptions of what to do, what not to do. They are the ones that are the reigning body here when it comes to stuff like this. So type in medication, you've got a list of resources, guides, if you're an examiner, if you're a pilot, and anywhere in between. FAA has done a great job with their website, so use this website and definitely gain as much information as you can from it, because it has some great information. Again, publications, if anything's new, they'll post about it, they'll write about it, they have a great team doing it. This right here, it's kind of a kooky video, but it's got some great information in there. It was put out in 2012. Put the links again below there. And it has the human factors, and it's all about scenario-based training. So it's a great little 13-minute video. Something, if you have a lunch or whatnot, just look through it, ignore the little kooky parts, but it does have some great information. And it might teach you something that you don't already know. I know I went through the 13 minutes. It wasn't too bad. I laughed at a few spots, but I did get some great information from it. Next, we have some pilot tips, some great information here. Reason I got this as well is the I am safe or I'm safe checklist. Illness, medication, stress, alcohol, fatigue, and emotion, making sure that you're able to fly. You might check all the resources available, and you might have the availability to fly within their scope of understanding of the FAA requirements. However, you might want to take, and you must take, a second to establish your well-being by following this little checklist here. Just thinking about your current illness, you might not be on medications, but are you still sick? I know that right now at this point, I'm okay. I haven't taken medication in probably about 4 days now, and with the medication that I have been taking, that's well exceeding the recommended time to fly. However, I still feel bad. That's going to exclude me from flying, because I'm excluding myself from flying. I don't want to be messing with this tooth out to altitude. I don't want to be coughing over the comms there with ATC. You get the point. Medication, that's kind of what we're talking about now. Stress, are you stressed out by the illness? Are you stressed out just because of other factors? Alcohol, don't mix alcohol with flying. It's pretty straightforward. Everybody knows, or everybody should know, how much time needs to be elapsed before you drink and fly. 8 hours, yeah, that's a recommended. 24 hours is even better. It depends, of course, if you're commercial or private. However, look over the resources. Whenever I drink alcohol, it's 24 hours, period. Again, I'm not a commercial pilot, don't have to fly, I like to be safe, like to make sure that my insurance premiums are low, so alcohol and flying is not good. Straightforward, right? Fatigue, when you're sick, you're tired. Fatigue plays a critical role on this, and then emotion. Do you want to get there? Are you stressed out? Are you freaked out? Do you just hate something that's going on today? Just check yourself with the emotional part. A lot of people kind of say, hey, I'm totally fine, I feel great, however, I've had a really stressful day. That really affects you in the air. Stressful to fly when you're talking to people, even if you're not talking to people, you're doing a lot up there. So check your emotions and see if you're still with it there. So the recommendation of the FAA is to seek out an AME, and an easy way of doing this is to go on the FAA's website, select an AME, and then do a search for it. Pretty easy, right? If anybody has any questions as far as your doctor, AME, or pharmacist there, FAA has contact numbers that they can suggest. What you could do is just print this out. So if you're talking to a doctor or a pharmacist and they're kind of confused by what's going on, give these folks contact. These numbers are usually used only by AMEs, but the three parties that I just stated can use these phone numbers as well. Lastly, again, just going back, wanted to keep this pretty short. The I'm Safe checklist. Do you have symptoms, illness, medication, stress, alcohol, fatigue, and eating? You can pause this video, look over it. Alcohol within 24 hours. Have I been drinking in 8 hours? Something you want to think about. It's really easy flying to all these places. Alcohol is all around you. People that you fly can drink, but you gotta have that willpower to say no. Just drink water or soda. It's the thing to do. So guys, with this, I'll put it to a close. It makes sense to be safe in this instance. Everything at altitude, when you're flying an aircraft, becomes more dangerous and critical, and you don't want to be on the wrong side of that by taking medications and flying. Like I said, it saves money. You don't crash, you don't break stuff. Your insurance premiums are low because of it. Saves lives, yourself, your passengers, and the people below you. I tell all my passengers the #1 commitment that I have in flying is to get you there safely, so I'm not going to do anything to mitigate that promise. Reduces mistakes, makes sense. It makes you feel worse. Anytime you fly and you're under that pressure, altitude, if you have an ear infection, cough, anything is just amplified when you're in the air. Know your personal minimums. Stick to them. And don't fly when you're sick. You always have the option to say no. If you're commercial, of course, that doesn't apply. However, with that, you can always call out. You know what you need to do to get it done. You don't ever have to fly. It just all depends on who you're telling that you're not flying that day. So stay safe, stay strong. We're all in this together, and have a great one.